Okay, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, fishing accomplices, good morning and welcome back to fishing. Here we go again, mid-August, well actually almost late August at this point, last third. Yeah, it is Friday, it's a weekday, so I had some options on my table today, or on my plate, and I was between going to South Shore and going back to Connecticut. And we decided Connecticut for a couple reasons. One, the winds are not looking super great as well as the tides. Supposed to ratchet up later in the day out of the south, which would make the South Shore much more challenging than I'd prefer. Two, we're getting close to the end of August, and one of the big appeals of Connecticut is obviously there's a limited tog season, and this might be my last chance to go on this. Next week I plan to be out of town, so I definitely won't be fishing for tog then. So we're going to try and do the Connecticut thing and see if we can get on some tog and potentially some other things. I definitely want to try and maybe get some fluke and sea bass if the opportunity presents itself, fishing a little deeper. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, we're gonna make our way out to the same spot or the same launch point, hopefully try some different spots, maybe use the anchor depending on the winds, and no matter what, you know what we're gonna do, get some fishing accomplished. Okay, we are on the water. Got a little bit of a hike, so along with the pedal drive, we also have, as I promised to some of my viewers, our trolling motor. So yeah, I'm not gonna go super in depth with this. If you want to see how I set this thing up, go check out my friend Peter's channel. But as you can see, this thing is in the rod holder. I didn't need to drill into the kayak for this thing to work. It's in the rod holder. It's a series of little attachments that kind of go through there. With the exception of me using wood instead of PVC for the actual mount, it's almost exactly what Peter has, with a few minor substitutions for some parts that I couldn't find in my local hardware store. But again, you might think I'm crazy for doing this, and it's like, if you're pedaling, why even bother? But the thing is, I'm pedaling so much less right now than I typically would. This thing is going at least like 1.5 to 2 knots for me, and I'm probably doing another knot by myself. So if I turn this thing off, I'd barely be moving. But because this is supplementing the pedal drive, it's that much less work for me. So definitely consider this if you're a Hobie owner and you want to take a little bit of stress off your legs in the Mirage Drive. But we're gonna keep moving to our first spot. Definitely feels a little bit breezier than forecast. Forecast is saying 5 knots, but this feels like more than 5 knots to me. And we're in kind of a sheltered area, so once we get out of that shelter, it's probably going to be a little bit sloppier, but we'll call it like we see it. If it's just like this, I have no problem going out a little further, but if it ratchets up, we're going to stay in close. But I'd like to do more than just hogfish today, but I think the tide is about to either peak or bottom out. I should have looked more depth, but it's going to go slack for a bit, and that would be ideal for going for some togs. So we're going to hit them first, and then we'll make a decision on if we want to go out deep and hit some wrecks or something. Okay, to start things off, we're going to fish a little tog jig, 1/2 or 1/4, 3/8 ounce, I'm not sure which, but light. We want to keep it really light. And I got some more 1/2 ounce ones that are a little bit more fancy that I got off J&H, but we got a mix of Asian crabs, fiddler crabs, and even a couple blue claw crabs I bought from the H Mart because I thought the tide would be a lot lower when I was hunting yesterday, but it wasn't. So I bought some blue claw crabs just as a little insurance policy. Sometimes the bigger crabs I find work better for blackfish when you cut them up. But we're gonna start with tog, and it doesn't look too bad out further, so one way or another, I'm really trying to bring some fish home tonight. So I'd love to bring home a tog or two, because that's not going to happen again until October at the soonest. But I will certainly settle for some sea bass and fluke if that's what it comes down to, or even some scump. Maybe we'll make some porgy patties. Stay tuned. We're getting some fishing accomplished one way or another. Okay, I'm not anchoring here, but I do my reverse drive, so I have a little bit more mobility than last time I was here. I'm not gonna just go nuts in this spot that I've already tried, but since the tide is favorable, we might as well give it a shot, starting with the blue claws. Definitely some life down there. Already getting bit. Already got a fish. Porgy? Yeah, porgy. Alright, that's not a bad sign. First hookup was a porgy. Surprise, surprise. It's funny because I didn't get any porgies over here last time. Okay, switching to shore crabs. See if it makes a difference in terms of committing. These fish are biting, they're just not really taking it. And blue crab does fall off the hook a little easier, I've been finding. That's a tug. Little guy, but what we're looking for, species-wise. He won't make 16 though, or she won't. Oof. Easy does it, girl. Okay, got our first tog. Not a big one, but shows us that we're doing something right. That one was on the Asian crab, but we're gonna switch back to green crab. You'll notice there's definitely some birds working over there. There's a ton of bait in the water. So if this tog thing doesn't work out, we definitely have a plan B of trying to get some, you know, more predatory species. But let's fish these tog while the tide isn't really moving much. And once the tide does move, we'll switch to some bottom jigging for fluke or sea bass or something. Toe tug on the shore crabs. Not a big one, but getting a much better ratio of, you know, these fish taking the shore crabs. So getting bites on the blue crabs, they just won't take it. They'll just nip at it. Could be because they're porgies, I don't know, but shore crabs are definitely yielding more takes, like actual grabbing the hook and running with it. So if they don't get there, it's very hard to catch these fish. Okay folks, it's that time. I'm gonna get right into it today rather than wait until halfway or 3/4 through the trip. We have our seltzer today, and I'm sure this is one that some of you have been waiting for. Never been reviewed on the channel. We have for the first time Spindrift. Sparkling water. I've actually never bought this stuff before. I maybe tried it here and there, but the big thing with this is, I guess kind of like Liquid Death or that Trader Joe's one. It's both seltzer water with some actual fruit juice, so let's check it out. It's a tall boy too, so not bad. You definitely get that, you know, lime kick at the end. It's not overwhelming. It's definitely not sweet, but it is refreshing. So if lime is your go-to, your jam, definitely check out this one. And also, while we're here, thank you for checking out this video. Please, while you're here, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Hopefully I'll give you something to stick around for. So let's see if we can get on some more tog. It's definitely dead low tide. This rock and a lot of rocks that I'm seeing were completely underwater last time I was here, so definitely gives us a new vantage point to some spots to check out. But this is where I was fishing and got my best bites last time. It might be a little shallow. I might hit a further piece of structure. Let's see what it looks like here. Jeez, some of these rocks are very much under us right now. Okay, the boulder I was fishing last time, the tide's just too low to fish there, but here's a brand new boulder, and it's huge. Holy crap, it comes like 10 feet all the way up to the surface. So during high tide, I mean, this is probably like pushing sub 20 feet. But yeah, this is definitely a tog spot. Just see if there's any fish here. Should be. I definitely think Asian shore crabs are the way to go. I mean, these fish would hit the blue claw, but they just won't take it. They just like kind of nip at it. The shore crab, like, I'm having trouble, make no mistake. It's definitely a different game than autumn togging, but at least they'll attempt to take the shore crabs. Well, yeah, I knew something was up there. So that's definitely not a tog take. Baby. That's a better one. Much better one. Not that much, but Definitely a step in the right direction. Just got another short tog, which is a good sign. We're starting to build a bite up in this spot. It's got to be something a little bigger down there. Just need a 16-incher. That's all we want. Try and stack up some meat today. Could be all right. Oh yeah, that's a sea bass. Oh hell yeah, that might be close. Not expecting you in shallow water. 16-inch minimum, and in Connecticut you can actually keep 5 of these. I was saying. I think this guy's a little short, but maybe. Ooh. Simmer down now, simmer down now. You're probably gonna end up going back. Yeah, you're just a little short. It's like 15. It would have been a keeper last year. See ya. Well, that was a surprise. A very shallow water sea bass, but if they're here, if we end up going out deeper, it might be interesting. But we're on a good tog bite. Excuse me. We're on a good tog bite, so let's keep this going until we have reason to leave.
So, as you probably notice, it's a little bit snotty out. The forecast did not have the winds anything like this in the morning, but you got to play the hand you're dealt. So, I did not anchor up in the morning. I really just stuck really close to this boulder and just built the bite up. And I did okay. You know, I probably got like at least a dozen tog and a few more short sea bass. Nothing even close to keeper size for either of them, but it kept me busy. But eventually the wind did die down, and I decided to make a move out to some deeper water to see what I can do drifting. I'm not going to show you all the short tog and sea bass I got. It'd be redundant, and this video would be way too long. But here's a little montage of it, and let's check out how things went in the deeper water.
Okay, we got a little bit less wind, and the tide is starting to move, so I'm going to give tog a break. I'll come back in when the tide's a bit higher and work some of the closer in rocks where I was working last time. We're going to go out deep and see if we can get into some sea bass or fluke or something. I mean, if we were getting the sea bass in shallow, I can't see why we couldn't get a few, you know, in some wrecks or some structures. So there's a couple spots I isolated on Navionics. We're going to check them out and hopefully get on some action. Okay, we got some very interesting looking bottom here. We're going a bit deep. Got some structure. We got a bit of a drop off. We got a hump. We got it all. I know there's fish in shallow, but let's see if we can get something bigger out deep and potentially some nice sea bass. I don't know. New spot, like to investigate. It's always fun to explore. Let's see what we can find. Definitely some bait down there and some life, but I have a feeling a lot of it's porgies, but try again. Looks like there's some structure, some bait. Ooh, that's something good. That's something good. What is that? What is that? Big. I don't know what that is. Western Sound. Could be a doormat. Might be foul hooked, whatever it is. It's huge, whatever it is. What the heck could this be? It doesn't feel like a fluke. I think it's foul hooked, but it's still very large. Fortunately, I don't have a rod that I have to worry about snapping in half on me this time. At least I hope not. I have no idea what this is. It might even be like a foul hook sea robin, who knows, but it's like perfectly. Definitely foul. What is that? Weakfish? Yeah, weakfish. Cool. Nice tide runner. It's one of my better ones. Beautiful fish. That's a pretty fish. Let's try and get a quick measure and get him back. I don't keep weak fish. That's just about flirting with 24. Nice. Oh. Yeah, not my most graceful release, but he's fine. Just got a pretty nice weak fish. Let's try that drift again, but a slightly different trajectory. It's definitely a ton of bait down there. It's deep, so one of those bites might have been a fluke that I had, but I was so ready for like porgies and maybe sea bass that I probably set the hook a little prematurely. Let's try that drift again and see how it goes. If nothing really is doing, we're gonna try a place drastically different. Unless something interesting happens in this drift, we're gonna try a different spot after this. Definitely a lot of porgies here, and they're ruining my gulp, and that's not what I want. That's not why we're here. Work our way a little shallower, unless there's a wreck close by, which I'll check. There's a lot of spots that I found interesting looking. While we're out here, maybe try another wreck, but otherwise we're gonna go shallower where there's a ton of bait. There he is. That might be a sea bass. Probably a porgy, but maybe a sea bass. What do you know? I guess it wasn't such a far-fetched thing to come all the way out here. Not gonna keep, but it's a good sign. Okay, just jigged up a little sea bass in that last drift. Not a bad sign. It's one of the things we did want to see out here. Fortunately, we wanted something a little bit bigger, or a lot bit bigger. That might be a sea bass. Actually, that's definitely a porgy. It's a big porgy. Big porgy. Big porgy, jeez. Wow, look at that thing. Jeez. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, look at that thing. It's like a sheep's head. Oh, we might have to keep this porgy. That is, without question, the biggest porgy I've ever caught. Oh my God. Let's get a measure of that guy. That is a slab. That is a freaking slab right there. Slabosaurus. Like, that's easily personal best. Just a hair over 16. Damn. Slab central. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep this one. Plus his guts are coming out from that. Oh my God. What a slab porgy, man. Almost, well, just a hair over 16. Get some nice fillets off him. Keep saying I'm gonna leave this spot, but then, you know, something remarkable happens each drift, so give it at least one more go, see what happens. I wouldn't mind getting another porgy, which shouldn't be too hard, even in shallow, but let's give it another shot. We know there's sea bass down there, we know there's porgies, and there's a couple that felt like they might have even been fluke that I've hooked into, but still haven't connected. I'm sure if I go shallower, I'll get more fluke, but not necessarily big ones. Okay, new spot. Got a bit of a ledge to work here. Looks really good for fluke, I bet. And I know a lot of these fish are in shallower. Ton of bait. I mean, should definitely find something here. Yeah, that's what I figured. A little bigger we'd think about it, but not this guy. Plenty of sea robins. Oh my god, you gotta be crapping me. It just hit the bottom. What's that? That's something nice. Might be our second porgy. Sea bass. Find them pretty shallow. Let's try and work fluke or porgies or whatever one more time in around 20 feet of water. Got another ledge here I want to check out. After this, we're going right for tog, and we'll pretty much do that until we run out of crabs. Already getting porgy bites. That's a sign. That's better porgy. Sure. Not that big. Let's see. $12 sure. Okay, that porgy is 12 inches, so between that and the 16-incher, we definitely got enough meat to do something. But I'm gonna try here for another 4 minutes to see if we can get one more. Otherwise, we're gonna go straight in for tog. Maybe even anchor, if we get on a good bite. Okay, we are going out just like we started. We're togging. The only difference is I may consider throwing the anchor down. It's much more fishable than it was this morning. Tide's much better too, it's higher. So let's try this rock. It was good to me last time. Let's see if we can pull up a nice fish. Okay, let's try this out. It's the rock that I fished most, or the second half of last time. Tide's much higher. Much less wind. Let's tighten this drag up because we're not fishing for fluke anymore. That's a good one. That's a good one. That might be a keeper. That's gonna be close. 16, maybe? Probably just a tiny bit short, but it'd be awesome if it wasn't. Probably 15. Oh my gosh. It's like 15 and a half. That's a bummer. Beautiful fish though. We just got what was easily our biggest tog of the day, 15 and a half inches. Very close, but not quite, as they say. So if that fish is there, I'm hoping there might be something just a tiny bit bigger. That's all we need, but we'll give it everything we got. We don't have a ton of crabs left, and we got 2 porgies. That's something to be happy about, but I'd love to get some tog before this season closes out for me. All right, we're starting to put a bite together here. All we got is a bunch of little shore crabs, which is fine. Just gotta, you know, string them up there like little tog kebabs. They can't get enough of them. Blue claw really didn't match what these short crabs are doing right now. They'll bite them, but they're not taking them. I can't get enough of these short crabs.
After getting that 15.5-inch tog, I was having trouble getting more bites on that particular rock, so I did a little exploring, and I tied up at this other rock, and I decided just to bite the bullet and to anchor up. And part of the reason I don't anchor up is because I get a little nervous around the wind and the tide, but the other reason is sometimes I'm just worried that I'll anchor up on a spot where there isn't much going on. But honestly, when you anchor up, like, it's the difference between you finding the fish and the fish coming to you. When you just keep dropping crabs down there, you stir the fish up and you just get onto much more of, you know, a better bite. Plus, it's a lot less work for you. You make the fish work and you get to reap the rewards. And it was a game changer. I definitely had a much better bite going once I anchored. I just wish I did it sooner.
Got him. That's a good one. That's a real nice one. And he's lightening up. Not bad. Maybe. I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe. It's actually looking kind of nice. If you make 16, the anchor was totally worth it. But I'm getting 15.5 vibes from this fish. Oh my god, look at that. It's 15 3/4. Whatever. Maybe there's some other nice ones down there. That's a nice one. Togue. Not a keeper though. Oyster toadfish. Damn, it's a big one. What a hideous sucker. Let's just get a official measure. This one is just touching 12. Actually 12.5, just about. He's pinch him at 12. What an ugly those teeth. So soft. Poor man's monkfish, right? Those crushers. Okay. Well, that was a fun little outing right there. Definitely got some serious time in the water, which I really needed. I guess the big takeaway for tog fishing is if you can anchor up, you should anchor up. And I should have probably done it earlier. I mean, I couldn't do it this morning. It was too snotty. I could have. It's just been dicey. But at least this afternoon, you know, if I gave up on those porgies earlier and trying to maybe get a fluke, I should have just came in and anchored while it was still relatively calm. But whatever. Some advice to my future self. But I hope you enjoyed. It's a bummer we couldn't get a keeper tog, but we got that really nice porgy, which would have actually measured as a keeper tog. That weakfish, that oyster toadfish, really nice spread of fish. You know, you just never know what you're gonna get when you jig from the bottom in the summer. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching. As always, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you in the next one, and of course, goodbye from Fishin.